They rush to the moat and form a shield wall across the circumference of it all around the village. Fire begins to burn up from the moat. Large ladders are being carried through the long grass. On top of them, you see there are men with torches. Hundreds of Shankar pour through the open space towards the village, pouring out of the long grass. The warriors start hurling their spears. The Shankar start to drop like flies, but there are too many, and soon the ladders are upon you. Dozens of wolves burst through the long grass, hurtling towards the village, and they are being ridden by Shankar. The man drops what is left of the shield on the ground and stands defiantly in front of the beast as it is coming towards him, and the other wolf-riding Shankar are bearing down on him. It is Mumbabi. Oh! Yes! We lost many last night. Many of our family and friends, both in death and capture. Mumbabi's son was one who was taken. Mumbabi does not look back. He heads straight into the long grass. Welcome back, adventurers, to this chapter 17 of the Ritual of the Blood Temple. We left the party after an exciting and sad series of events. They've recently lost one of their party. They protected... Yeah, I can tell you're sad. Audibly. They recently defended the camp of the dark-skinned warrior, who they've now known. His name is Mumbabi. They defended that against the Shankar, and they are currently going to kill them at their heart while they search for the man in black. So, I'll just take us back a little bit. You've essentially just made camp for the night. Mumbabi has cleared a space with his shield and spear in the long grass, because you remember you're in this very tall long grass. You actually can't really see over the top of it, it's so tall. He uproots the grass and actually digs a hole. There he lights a fire. So you can see from doing this, it would be very difficult for anyone to actually see the fire unless they were quite up close to you. And essentially you're bunkering down for the night. I believe maybe even at the end of last session we talked about putting on watches and all that sort of stuff. In case, unless anyone wants to say anything, I can continue.
No.
No?
You carry on.
I'll carry on. So you all do your watches in whatever order you decided to do it. They are all uneventful. So in the morning you wake up. Everyone prepares. Mumbabi's ready to go, essentially. You can all have some rations at this point.
Oh, thanks. So we don't have to.
That's up to you.
Yeah.
There are rules for if you don't eat, which I can see on my board here.
How many rations can we have?
We've
had some. We've consumed the rations.
Yes.
Oh, very good.
He's not just going to give you random beef jerky. So, the next day you continue on. Sometime after midday, you notice that the grass actually begins to start to change colour from a dry yellow to a green. The greener it gets, the shorter it becomes. As you start to be able to see over the grass, you see a large mountain range looming before you in the distance, covered in dense jungle. You continue on. By now the grass is below your waist. The jungle looms before you. The sound of exotic creatures and insects fill the air, and you can feel the humidity begin to rise. Samsoon has begun to set in the night sky, and the girl is on his way to take his watch for the night by the time you get close enough to the jungle. So it's dusk. You could still probably keep going for a while. Mumbabi stops and indicates to you a path leading into the jungle. It's clear that he wants to keep going.
Yeah, I will continue following him.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. So you reach the path and you see that it's old. The dense jungle encroaching on it from all sides. As you follow the path, soon the canopy of the jungle obscures what little light was left of the day. It grows dark quickly. Mumbabi lights a torch. The cacophony of wildlife is now almost deafening, and you hear the sound of flowing water somewhere off to your left. But given the low light and the density of the jungle, you can't make out where the sound is coming from. The deeper into the jungle you go, the more humid it becomes. It's hard going, the humidity is oppressive. Even Mumbabi seems to be tiring. So after you've been travelling for a while, Sahid speaks up. Perhaps we should make camp soon, my brothers. We should be rested for the task that is ahead.
Yeah, it's probably wise. And I look to Mumbabi.
He kind of... You can tell like he feels like we're going too slow.
Yeah.
But he kind of agrees.
Yeah.
Very good.
I take off my pack, and I've got my robes have been off for a while. I've just been walking topless because I imagine this humidity is harsh.
Yeah.
I'm just sweating, and I sit down, to prepare a little space to take some rest.
Sure. Yeah, so essentially there's like, you found quite near to where you were, you come across a circle of trees just off the path, and there's like a bare area in the middle of it, which would be suitable to make kind of a camp.
Is it a bit like the jungles from Predator?
Yes. Yes, it
I
is.
look for like one of those bamboo shoots. I get my axe out that Jericho's given me. See if water comes out.
Sure. Yeah, it does.
Drink.
I mean,
I'm going to reload my gun. I was thinking you were going to say, like, I scan the trees for a predator.
that's what I was expecting.
Like, wow, okay.
I look for 3 red dots that appear.
I go to he turns around and says, "There's something in those trees. It ain't no man."
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Do you know what we're talking about, bitch?
Well, someone had to say it. I was biding my time.
Have you seen it? Have you seen that one?
Indeed.
All right.
I don't know why you come here.
It would be time better spent watching films, so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So you set up camp. The night kind of goes on. You will want to retire at some point. You can now set up your watches if you wish to do so.
Yeah. I choose to take first. Well, I will take first watch.
I'll go with you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I would take second. I am happy to take the third, and then I can continue until dawn.
Sure. Zahid kind of nods, as in he'll do the same. And Mumbabi kind of just looks at you up and down and goes, but you guess he's going to be with you. Okay, cool. Very good. So, you have some time to talk now if you wish, or we can just move on to the evening and on to the morning.
So it's just myself and Jericho.
Yeah, we can move on to that point, sure.
Yeah, I'm again playing with the axe, and I stare at the others periodically that are sleeping, smiling, and looking out up into the canopy of leaves above us. I'm seeing quite at ease, where I've been a bit not myself for the past day or so, but seem quite calm.
So you sort of notice that I'm sort of sat with you. I'm sort of flicking through what looks like a prayer book, and I'll look up to you and say, "You seem at ease. You seem like yourself again, lad."
I am confident that everything that has happened so far has happened exactly as it was supposed to.
I've been saying that the whole time. We're all treading the same path.
Yes. As long as we all see the trials out to completion, then we should prevent what is any bad that is to come.
Aye. Our fate, it seems, has been decided, but I suppose if there are forks in the road, we need to figure out which one to take. We have to win this game. There are things we can do.
It is a game of sorts, isn't it?
I look over to where Pollux is sleeping.
I wonder which of those wolves will win the race.
He seems to have a better grasp on it. That thing inside of him. He struggles. But then again, I think we all do. We're all wrestling with demons of some description. His is a bit more potent, I think.
Yes, I would say so.
He's got power, that lad. He seems to be getting a grasp of it.
Well, as long as he fulfills his trial, ultimately it doesn't matter which of the wolves wins.
You could say that. I think he might have something else to say. He's confused. He still doesn't know why he's here. He will.
I wonder which of us it will give a trial to next. There doesn't appear to be any order to it.
There might be some twisted order we're not aware of. However, I think we might all know what lies in store for us. I've got an idea. Frightens me.
Really?
Aye.
There are things in your past you would rather not face.
Oh, well, there's plenty of that. Some more troubling than others, but I think I've got an idea what it might be. I'm sure you'll do as well. I'm sure he does. We've all got an inkling, but we'll know for sure soon enough.
Your gods will protect you, though, right?
I certainly hope so.
Just stare into. Do we have a fire going?
Did you make one?
Would we have? It just depends. I don't know. Let's it gives off.
I
Gives
thought
off our location.
Barbie made one, or did you just make the fire pit?
So that was at your last camp.
Yeah, I didn't think we would have a fire going.
Oh yes, of course.
It's under the... You said it's a clear night, see the stars, right?
No, I said that the canopy is so thick that it's starting to obscure the light. He did.
And you did the opposite.
Yeah, Mumbabi did have a torch lit.
Good on us.
Okay, yeah, I mean, we'll have a small fire.
I presume that we would have discussed beforehand and kind of referred to Mumbabi because he knows the land.
Yeah. I'm just staring into the fire and clearly am thinking, when you're mentioning your past, thinking on mine.
Hey, how's that axe? What do you think?
It is a fine weapon. I will enjoy using it in the future.
Good lad. Good lad.
At that point, I put out my flute. I'm not playing it, but you can see I clean it. I should put the axe back on the hook in my belt, and I don't say anything else to you during the watch unless you have something to say to me. But I keep looking around at the party and the ones sleeping, smiling to myself, and then back just cleaning the flute.
Sure, I'm just going back to reading my book.
Why is he rolling dice?
We're all dead.
7 demons appear.
Your watch ends?
Does our life end?
We did it.
No, it's uneventful.
So it's Pollux and Mumbabi next, isn't it?
It is.
Cool. I assume you
They would have been
Cool. What happens is, as Mumbabi wakes up to take his watch, he sees that Pollux is already up, and the first thing he sees is he's kind of sat. He's got his pipe out. He's smoking his tobacco, and he's sat over the little flame. He's got his kind of hand hovering above it, and as he notices that Mumbabi is awake, without kind of moving, I think he's kind of fixed his gaze downwards, but he notices Mumbabi's awake now. Mumbabi hears him say, "You know, it's strange. I can't feel his pain. Does that seem strange?"
So as you say that, as you say that, so the dark-skinned warrior Mumbabi, he just looks at you and goes, and he picks up his spear.
Oh!
And he rests it on his lap.
Yeah.
And crosses his arms and just looks at you.
"Do you think me a demon, warrior?" He kind of releases his hand from the flame and says, "I am no demon. I am just a man. You have a beautiful family. You have a beautiful home. I had a home once. It was taken from me by pestilence, by sickness. I see your home been taken by those I look upon as being unworthy. They would so be willing to take a life, innocent life. They make themselves unworthy of life themselves. Fear not, warrior. I am just a man. And I promise, those that would deal death to the innocent, I would punish the world over. Do you ever doubt your gods? I envy you. There are times when I see so much death, so much pettiness, so much anger. What kind of gods would allow such a thing? I wonder. Maybe the true gods protect the worthy, the strong. I can see you are strong. I hope I can be made strong again. I hope this poor soul can be left alone. And every unworthy thing that would deal death to the innocent is punished. He goes back to smoking and he doesn't say anything else.
So yeah, while you were saying that, you would have noticed Mumbabi, he was resting his hand on the spear, and when you mentioned that stuff about the gods, you could see him clench it very tightly. And he just watches you for a while. Then he then stares. He stands up, and he kind of cracks his back, and he moves to the other side of the fire, sits down as far away from you as possible,
Right.
and just looks at you. Can you make a perception test, please?
Me?
Yes.
Well. Perception. Ooh. So, so I rolled a 3 plus 2 is 5.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy.
The conversation you were both having seems to have taken your attention away from the watch.
Weird.
You suddenly hear in the trees above you a rustling.
No.
From the canopy, an enormous jet black spider drops down into the center of the camp, followed by several smaller ones, but they're still unusually large. The biggest one is the size of a bull, whilst the 3 smaller ones are the size of large dogs. They are covered in thick black hair that look more like spikes really than hair. They hiss through their fangs. They seem hungry. We'll roll initiatives now. Right, so we are back. It is time to roll for initiatives. If you would like to start us off, Jericho.
Where's my D? There it is.
Good. We're
Always
prepared.
ready. That is a 15 plus 0 is 15.
Okay, very good.
Very good.
Hey!
That is a 13 plus 0 equals 13.
Very
I
nice.
think it was 0 plus 13. We're in trouble.
Okay. 13 plus 3, 16.
Okay, very
Oh,
good.
10 plus 6 is 16.
Hey, we all rolled above average.
You all
That's
rolled
good.
really well. However, because the people on watch failed their perception checks,
Because
Mumbabi was there as well.
yeah, he was so shaken by what you were saying. He actually rolled a 1. So what that means is that it will go the spiders first, then it will go. Well, both Rin and Hakote rolled the same. Who has the highest? Would it be you?
So we both have initiative plus 3, but I have a further plus 3 for my wisdom.
Sure.
Due to
So
being-
then you will go first, Rin.
Okay.
Then it will go Hakote, Jericho, and Pollux. So Sahid and Mumbabi, there's more than the smaller ones, and you can see on the board. For the purposes of just not rolling dice where no one can see them, they have engaged them. However, you have been assailed silently by these creatures. We will start with the mother. So she kind of lands right in the middle of it. This horrible hissing noise comes out. And as all of these, you hear the nattering of their kind of fangs as they move along. She goes, grunk, launches on to you, Jericho. So you're kind of waking up to this sound, because as soon as they've dropped, the thudding noise has kind of awoken you all, and this hissing. So I imagine you're trying to, you've just woken up, you've seen this thing, you're trying to draw your sword, but this pincer hits you in the chest and pins you to the ground, and you are bitten on the neck. You are indeed bitten on the neck.
Oh.
So you will take a total of. May I borrow a dice, please? Is there a D100 in here? So you take a total of.
I need 5 of them.
Oof. You take a total of 8 damage.
8!
And I need you to make a Constitution saving throw now, please.
No! Well, yes.
No.
Constitution saving throw. That is a 9 plus. That's 11.
That's 11?
It's 11.
Okay, so nothing happens other than you are pinched by this huge talon, essentially, that just goes whoosh straight into you, and you start to feel almost like some sort of infection growing, but you manage to fight it off with your constitution. We'll come over now to the baby spiders. They kind of spread out. Straight in over there. So we'll start with the one on you, Rin. This little, they move incredibly fast as well. Straight across. Again, you're kind of like, as this thing's literally on top of you and you're kind of locked in combat with it. You manage to fend off its attack as it comes at you. The one that goes on to you, Hakote, your armor class is
Normally 15.
normally 15. What is it? What is it now?
I don't know. I don't know. You've given me a better
but now it's 20.
Well, now it's 21.
Yeah. Unfortunately, normally 15 would not be good enough. So
It's 21.
yeah, even then. Actually, maybe then, but it's not 21, so that's fine. So yeah, this
What just happened?
Again, this creature latches onto you and pierces through your leg with its fangs, and you feel it start to suck your insides out through the puncture. You take a total of. I've written this all down. Ah, yes. Hey. You take a total of 4 damage, so not as strong as the mother. And now I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
No, thank you.
Yes? Immediately. or I'll just do it anyway.
Right, well, that's good. 16 plus 2, so 17, 18.
Very good. So nothing else happens to you at this stage.
No.
We move over to the one on you there, Pollux. It lashes out at you. So, or Pollux, or whoever you are at the moment, it lashes out at you.
Who knows?
That is a hit. You take a total of 6 damage as this thing clambers up on top of you and is scratching at your face and biting you all over. You get these puncture marks all over your chest. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw now, please.
Okay. So I have +2 to my Constitution and I have +2 to my saving throw, so it'll be +4. Wow. That's 7 + 4 is 11.
Okay. You have a Constitution of 18.
18.
Why do you get +2 to your? You get +2 for con, but then why do you
I
get
don't think.
+2?
Yeah,
Saving throw, right?
Yeah.
you don't get an additional +2.
Oh, really?
Okay,
Okay.
it's just
Wizards are not proficient in Constitution saving throws.
Yeah.
I have a +2 on my Constitution
Yeah.
and on the
Yes.
saving throw.
Why do you get it on the saving throw? Is that a necromancy?
Oh no, you haven't ticked it. So that's just you. What you've done is you've got the +2 here and here.
Oh, I
if
didn't
it
tick
was
it.
ticked, no, you don't get to tick it.
No.
Yeah, no.
No. So wizards are not Constitution based.
Okay, so
they're quite weak.
what did you get in total there?
Okay, roll a 7. If it's just +2, it's 9.
It's 9. You take an additional.
No.
Oh, shut up!
No.
You take an additional 3 damage
Should've been paying attention.
as you feel poison start to sink into your wound. This hot, burning feeling goes up. You get an immediate fever and you start to sweat profusely. Right, so there it is. They have not now done their turn of attacks, which they got because you were not aware they were coming. We will now go around into Rin's turn.
Okay, so...
Kill it, Rin!
Help us! I imagine this spider's just leaped down from the treetops. So I've just immediately rolled out the way under where I was sleeping. I've just pulled out one of my swords and just driven it into the stomach of this creature. So my first attack is a 5 + 5, so that is a 10.
So you go to hit out at this thing and you realise that its spikes are actually a bit harder than you thought you might need to strike.
That's fine. So then with my Gloomstalker second attack, I mutter, I cast Hunter's Mark on him, and then I use my bonus action, not my bonus, that is my bonus action, 6 + 5 for my Gloomstalker attack is 11.
Unfortunately, you cannot puncture the hide of these creatures, these evil, ginormous spiders. Very good. We'll now come around to you, Hakote.
Right. Okay. So this thing's just. I've woken up and it's bitten my leg.
Yes. Let's just say that's just what woke you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I suddenly look up, startled, and just by a reflex, both of my hands push out into a double palm strike. I don't have to roll for this. I'm going to immediately do the sweeping cinder strikes. I'm going to spend a key point.
Okay.
You can remove all of them all if you like. Would you like me to do it for you?
No, that's fine.
Okay.
So why don't you explain how this works again?
Basically, I do. I believe it's 2d8 fire damage, if I remember correctly. So it's level 1. It's burning hands. The burning hands power.
Sure. And it doesn't have it has like
it's
a cone
a 15-foot cone.
So unfortunately, that will hit Jericho.
No.
Yeah.
No.
He gets to choose the direction.
Yes, so I'm going to hit this one and Big Mama over here. Unfortunately, it will just be these two, but Hakote does it in this direction here.
Sure.
So it will hit the both of them.
And
I'm pretty sure it's 2d8. Do you remember it was 2d8?
3d6.
It's 3d6?
2d8 is the thunder part.
Okay, it's the other way around. So 3d6 damage,
If they...
no bonus
Yep.
to it, it's just straight 3d6.
The spiders need to make a dex save.
Yes, otherwise it's half damage.
a dex save. Okay,
Yes.
cool. What's the difficulty?
The DC will be 12, if I remember correctly.
Okay, so on the mother, she's fine. And then on the baby's not fine. So, if you'd like to roll the damage, and then we'll have it to Mum.
Not bad. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 points of damage.
10 points of damage.
10 points of damage.
Okay, very good.
Then I believe I can spend another key point to do a flurry of blows.
I don't.
Oh no, I can't because it replaces the bonus action. So I'm just going to strike with my offhand.
Okay, cool. So the one
so I
that's
can
on
do
top
that.
of you. Very good.
Yeah. So right. 12 plus 5, 17.
That is a hit.
Okay, so I go. The gout flame burns them both. This one starts to, the spider shrivels up when it's trying to defend itself.
Yeah.
And then I immediately come in. The axe blurs out of nowhere off the hook on my belt and cuts up through one of the talons. And I do D6 damage on this. And 5 plus 3, so 5, 6, 7, 8 points of damage.
Yeah.
I think it's taken 18 points of damage.
That thing is dead.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So, how does it die?
Right, so as this axe whips
Tell me!
up, because it's burning,
Yeah.
the axe whips up and it takes out one of the fangs, which was attached. It's still stuck in my leg. So, cut up, it screeches, falls on its back, and it shrivels, and there's this horrible burning smell as the venom suddenly
Yeah, very
into
cool.
the air.
Awesome.
And I now flip up and I'm on my feet.
Okay, very nice. So we'll now come across to you, Jericho.
Tremendous. So, whilst Jericho was sleeping, he was having a dream. He's having a dream, everyone, and he dreams that spiders came through the canopy and started attacking everyone. So the dream that he had. And the dream is
Come true.
Is come true.
So you're a demon.
Interrupted by a giant spider biting through my armor. Awoken by this giant beast, Jericho goes to grab his sword and stab through into the spider, but has a moment of clarity. He calms himself, closes his eye. Come on now, he's lost an eye.
He's about to lose another one.
Yeah, and he says a prayer to himself. As he opens his eye again, his eye glows golden and says, "Bohana, guide my brothers in the darkness." And I cast Bless.
Oh, my man.
So
What does it do?
So
Best
Bless
power in
is
the game.
a power that I have chosen when we take a long rest. Because I know all the paladin spells, I just pick 3 that I know. Bless is one. I've replaced Thunderous Smite because I enjoy Divine Smite more. And Bless allows me to choose 3 creatures of my choice within range, which is 30 feet. And whenever a target makes an attack roll or a saving throw before the spell ends, the target can roll an additional d4, and you add the number rolled to the attack roll or saving throw.
Oof.
Whoa.
Wow.
Very nice.
So when I strike, it's D20 plus D4.
Indeed.
And when I... Wow.
Yeah, that's very cool. So who do you choose?
My 3 companions.
Your 3 companions.
Yeah.
I don't believe Rin's in range.
Yes?
Might not be actually, that's a good point. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Oh, I'm just on the fence.
Thanks, pal.
Sucks for you.
As I finish the spell, all of your eyes glow golden.
Oh my god.
And you have clarity granted upon you by our friend Bohana.
Very nice.
That's my full action.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
Very,
Just remember, it's
very cool.
Here's a
So everyone-
concentration.
don't get hit.
No shield of faith for me.
No, get hit.
Don't get
Okay, very good.
Wow.
So now it's over to you. Well, whoever you are.
Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be.
I'm surprised you've even watched that.
That is a name that I have not heard in a long time.
My boy, Kelly.
So that was really cool. So what's happening is the spider's kind of lunged on Pollux. He's bitten into him, and Pollux is just kind of like whoever he is right now, is just kind of like wrestling with it for a bit, and he's bitten into him, and for a moment he stops. He closes his eyes, he wrenches, and you could hear like he kind of opens his eyes. His eyes are still glowing red slightly. He looks at the spider dead in the eyes and says, "Ah, the taste of death." But as that happens, the golden glow comes out of his eyes, is replacing the red glow. Ooh. And the kind of sparks start to fly from his hands, but instead of from his hands, he just calls out, "Ish!" and the kind of lightning spews out of his mouth.
Okay.
Into the spider's eyes. So I'm casting Shocking Grasp, of course. So D20 plus D4. Is it?
You just add D4.
Yep, just add D4.
So it's a present.
Just roll it together.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I can roll them together, right? Cool. So.
What, did you get a double one?
1 and a 4. Yeah.
I mean, what can I do?
There's only so much Bohana can help us here.
The only thing that's shocking about your grasp is the roll.
That's it. End of the thing. And that
that is where we will leave the session. It can get no better. What happened, boy? Did you hear this one over here? This guy, huh? This guy, he's funny, huh? You're a funny guy.
Amazing.
You're funny. What, am I like a clown? I know
So,
you.
what actually happens is, as this lightning shoots out of your mouth, it seems to hit a particularly hard part armor of this creature, and it just goes and shoots off into the canopy. And you hear this as something you kill something else, but it is not the spider. Okay, it now comes back around to these creatures. So as this thing goes, whoosh, it shoots off it. We'll start with the one on you, whoever you are. What actually happens is it kind of reels back and goes, and then suddenly from its mouth it goes, whack, and all of this goo just splats all over you and it starts to move all over you and starts to restrain you as it attempts to cover you in web. And you do notice that it does come from their mouths, which is quite odd.
Is it black as well?
It is.
We've seen this.
I didn't say that, but it is.
We've seen this nonsense before.
Yeah. Okay, yes. So what happens is you're covered in this stuff, and it slowly starts to bind you together.
Right.
You will now need to make a. I wrote this down. Yeah, you need to make a strength check, please.
Oh, great. I will use a different dice.
Yes.
Right.
Yep. Can we roll it where everyone can see?
Oh, I saw what it was! God damn it, Rob!
It's alright, let's roll it again. Oh, it's 16.
16.
You
Okay.
already rolled?
20?
Yes!
Wow.
So you manage to. Okay, so it doesn't bind you. So you manage to resist it. Okay.
You've got the potential.
We come now over to the one on you
this
there,
dice
Rin. Again, you're hit with this. All this stuff just goes all over you, and it does. So if you could make your strength check now, please.
Check or save?
Just check.
That is a 13. Just a check, 13.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So again, you managed to kind of get through all of this stuff. We then come over to the one on you there, Jericho, the mum. So again, you're hit, but there's a lot more of this stuff that just goes and kind of like covers you, and you kind of pinned to the. So you've just. This ray of energy is just going into the party, which is beamed down through the canopy. And as you kind of look down, you're just hit in the face by all of this stuff. You are, indeed. I need you to make a strength check. This one will be slightly more difficult.
That is a 10 plus 5, that is 15. A check.
Check.
13.
13. Okay, you are now, unfortunately, restrained as this stuff just goes all over you. Oh, no. So what this means is your speed becomes 0. You can make no benefits from any bonus to speed. Attack rolls against you have advantage, and the creatures, and when you attack, they have disadvantage.
No.
And you also have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws from now on. When this happens, the mother, her pincers pierce down into you as she goes to attack and drain the life from your body. Oh, that, unfortunately for me, is a foul. So as she goes, she doesn't find the spot where she left a place for her fangs to go in, and she actually weirdly protects you from her own attack.
Idiot.
That's their turn. So now we'll come back around to you, Rick.
Okay, so with that sort of the slime, I guess I kind of moved a little bit out of the way. I draw my scimitar. I'm just going to make both my attacks at the same time on the spider that I'm fighting. The greens are obviously the blessed with the same corresponding dice. So I have, that is an 11 plus a 4, which is 15 on one, and then I have a plus 3 on another one, but it doesn't really matter because it was a natural 20.
Oh! They're both hits, by the way.
Yeah. So I'm going to need a redonkulous amount of dice for this. Okay.
All of them.
The normal hit does 2 plus 5 plus another 3, so that's 10 points of damage, and then the critical. What's the one of your dice hit? Does a 4 plus another
It's dead.
4? Okay, fantastic. I dismember it in 2 clean blows. It goes for a little leap, and I almost catch it in midair, and I slice all 8 of its legs off at the same time, and the body just drops to the floor and is still bleeding out everywhere.
That's exactly what happens.
Oof, disgusting. And then
Beautiful.
I dash over to assist Pollux.
Okay, very nice. So, Hakote, that's you.
Okay, I'm now up on my feet. I charge round to its back. I've still got Jericho's axe in hand. Roll forward up underneath its belly, and I come in. I'm going to spend a key point and do the real flurry of blows, which basically means I get 2 bonus attack actions.
Sure.
I'm going to roll my attacks first. The first of which is 4, 5, 6 plus 5, 11.
Okay.
Okay.
That is unfortunately a miss.
Okay. The second is weirdly the exact same roll. The third is better. 7, 8, 9, 14.
14. All of your blows fail to hit.
Oh,
So it's almost like you said you went underneath its
I
belly.
rolled under.
Now-
I'm trying to swipe
Now,
at its
normally
legs.
you would think with a creature like this that it's not that quite armored under here, but actually it seems that when you start to strike at it, you're just like a gung, and you just can't find any purchase inside of it. Okay, very good. We now come over to Jericho. So Jericho, you've got some problems, my friend.
Yep. So I'm striking at disadvantage, correct?
Correct.
Fantastic.
You can attempt to get out of this, obviously, as well.
How does one do that?
You'd make another strength check.
Interesting. And that'll be a full action, I presume.
Yes. Or you can strike at disadvantage.
I'm gonna strike at disadvantage.
Okay.
Double 20! Yeah. So, reaching for the sword, he tries to get down and swipe upwards.
I noticed.
A 15 and a 16.
Whoa!
Hey. 5 is a 20 or a 21. Which one would you like?
They
both hit.
Well, one hits, but yes, very good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, well, you know
It's
what I
not
mean.
too
It's what it, no, it's not.
Excellent.
Let's not
okay.
get carried away.
Divine Smite!
Ah, maybe I should. Maybe I will! So, drawing from the strength of Bohana, she is granted extra power into my big strong arms, and I will be using Thunderous Smite. When the blade does strike against the carapace of this beast, it strikes with great vengeance and furious anger. I've forgotten what it does. Is it an additional D8?
So did you mean Divine Smite?
Yeah,
Because you said
2d8.
you got rid of Thunderous Smite.
Yes.
Divine Smite's 2d8 on top of your normal damage.
Fantastic. May I?
Yes.
I don't know if I want to use your dice. But it'll be a fun experiment. It's a 1, funnily enough, with your dice. But that is an awful roll. That is only 5 on 3d8.
Wow.
Wow.
But plus 5, so 10 points of damage.
Maybe we should just retire these guys, man.
Yeah, I get some new dice.
It's on the cards. So this divine strikes out, and you almost see like that gold energy kind of goes into, and it kind of goes, kind of like steps off a bit, and kind of like, but then just goes straight in there to attack again. Okay, Pollux, it's over to you.
Come on, Pollux!
Okay, I can do this now. All right. Okay.
Oh, goodness.
Yes. Okay, so what happens is after the first one fails, they're still kind of locked in combat. But what Pollux actually does, he just kind of goes still, and he's like, his face just kind of goes, like just kind of droops like that. His eyes are still glowing gold from the thingy, and he just kind of quietly just says, "Ish," and the same thing happens again. The shocking grasp spews forth from his mouth, and we're still doing the plus D4 thing, aren't we?
Oh,
cool.
yes.
Yeah. Good. I just want to be absolutely sure. Oh, he's not wearing plate armor, anything. Right. Oh, that's better. That's better. That's a 19 and a 1, so that obviously makes 20. It's
Yes,
not a
that's a
natural
hit.
20, so that's not a thingy.
No,
It's
it
not.
most
Definitely isn't.
Your damage, sir.
I knew that. Damage, D8 damage. I picked the right dice this time. That's 7 points of damage.
Ugh,
So now that he can't take reactions as well until his next turn, I'm going to just mosey on over here. I think.
Yes!
Yeah.
You didn't go past the mama, don't worry.
1,
Tactical
2,
withdrawal.
3. Yeah, cool, great.
Okay. Very good.
All right, we're back in the game, folks.
Episode 17, let's go!
Okay, so now we do come back to the spiders. So the mother is now being assailed on two sides. However, her prey that she has wrapped up is still Jericho. She goes to puncture you once again. And she does. Very nice. So it's almost like she's found the spot where she meant to go beforehand, and these two fangs just go gunk straight into you. You take a total of 10 wounds. 10! Woo! Can you make a Constitution save?
Wow.
Saving throw as well, please.
13 plus 2 is 15.
Okay, so in this instance, you manage to avoid once again the poison coursing through your body, but you have two enormous holes in your chest where this thing is now. You can actually feel your innards starting to get sucked as she tries to make a husk of what's left of your body.
Delightful.
Running away, so you kind of flee, having been struck by Rin in the back. This thing turns on you. It goes to strike out at you. You're
14.
14, that is a hit. So you go gink on the back, this thing just turns around and goes. Again, it kind of, these ones are a bit smaller, so they kind of lunge at you and kind of, sink their teeth into you. He does a total of only, hang on, hey. He does a total of 3 damage that time.
Okay.
So he doesn't quite get the purchase that he wants. If you could make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Is Bless still active, Mr. Beard?
Well, it's for 1 minute.
So it's concentration and you just took damage.
Oh, yeah.
You'll need to make a Constitution save.
12 plus 2 is 14.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. So I get the D4 on my own saving throw, which is 6 plus 2 plus 3, so that is an 11.
That is an 11. Oof. You are fine. Blessed by Bohana. Wouldn't have been fine if it was Mum.
No.
Okay, that's fine. Cool. Right, so that, in that case, is them done. We come around to Rin, which is quite appropriate.
Yeah, so he's gone in with these fangs. I cut down with my scimitar. That is a 7 plus 3 plus another 5, 15.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so I've not moved the hunter's mark. But that is 6 plus 3, 9 points of damage.
Oh, and he had already been shocking grasped. If you'd like to explain how you dispel this creature.
The scimitar just carves straight down into its chitinous shell, and it splits its abdomen all the way along to its spinnerets, and just insides just spill out behind it.
Yes, very cool.
And then with that, I turn my attention to the big mama, and I mutter, "Not sinner." As a bonus action, moving my hunter's mark to her and move in to engage. That's my turn.
Very nice. Okote.
Okay, so I rolled in underneath the belly and tried to lash out with the axe, which I imagine it lifted its leg.
Yeah.
And I tried to get in with 2 uppercuts underneath its hide, but nothing, to no avail. I then rolled out from underneath, and weirdly, it's like I grabbed my head, like I almost have a headache. And then I turn, and at that moment, the golden light that was there, because you said that we had like golden glowing eyes because of this blessed, it suddenly goes red, and then bursts into like reddish fire.
Good lord.
I open my mouth, and it's like God of War rage style. Bring the axe down on its belly.
Yes, you do.
On the top of its hide, although very poorly. So that's a miss. I'm assuming. Yes, definitely a miss. 5 in total plus 5 is 10.
Yep.
And then I'll spend my last key points to do the bonus attacks.
Okay.
6, no, that'll definitely be a miss because I've missed on a 11 before. That will be a hit though, so 16, 17, well, I assume.
That's a hit.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
it is.
So that would have been like 22 total. So the axe misses. It just sort of bounces off. I then go in with a Superman punch, boom, bounces off. But what it's been doing is softening the chitinous shell.
Yeah.
And then the third and final blow, crack! It cracks the shell.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
Oh, what did you roll? How?
I do 3 plus 3, 6 points of damage.
6 points of damage. So you feel that it just kind of it goes in a bit like this, and like all of this like weird, like almost greeny, yellowy goo starts to go
I imagine that there are suddenly you see all of it, you see the blood, but there are all of these tiny little mini spiders that start scuttling out.
Okay, that sounds good. Let's do that. Yes.
Babies.
I'll just write them into the initiative then.
No.
Swarm of spiders.
Okay, Jericho.
Right. Yes. So what I'm going to do this time is do a strength check and see if I can break free of these gooey chains.
Okay,
so
sounds
this
good.
is just a strength check, right?
This one is yes.
That is a 20, a natural 20. Do I break free and then get an additional attack?
No, but you certainly break free.
Okay.
Right.
So, mustering every ounce of strength, because I've taken 18 points of damage.
You sure have.
Mustering
I'm not
every
mucking about
ounce of
anymore.
strength I've got, like, all of the bits of web just go everywhere, and he breaks free, draws his sword, and ends his turn.
Okay, very
I'm
nice.
free.
Okay, Pollux, that's you.
Okay, cool. So Pollux is kind of reared back. He's seeing this little baby spider being killed by our boy Rin over here. He looks over at the mama spider who's getting attacked, and he sees the cracks opening up. His eyes are still glowing red, but then he kind of relaxes for a moment, and he kind of brings his hands up to his eyes and kind of cups like this, and then like opens his hands, and the glow in his eyes have been kind of out and above his hands like two orbs, and his eyes have gone back to his normal blue. Sorry, his normal bluish tinge. I don't know why I said yellow.
Well, I do, because you're two people.
Well, the red. Never mind. So the orbs. He kind of then does this, and the orbs kind of split. So there's 4 orbs above his hands now, and in that moment he just kind of, again, he relaxes and he says, "Babana, thank you." Claps his hands like this, and the 4 orbs dart towards the mother spider. I'm casting Magic Missile,
Huzzah!
which is an auto hit, and I'm doing it on 2nd level.
Very nice.
Which means it's 4d4 plus 1. Or 4 d4 plus 1 times 4.
So roll,
Roll the d4.
Yeah, so roll a d4 times 4, or roll a d4 plus 1 times 4. So that's 4.
No!
So that's 5.
yeah.
Times 4 is 20.
Nice.
So, if you'd like to describe how you destroy this spider.
Oh yeah, Pollux
He
is
did it.
back in town. Okay, so in America. Okay, so the orbs enter the spider, and the spider kind of just darts back for a second, wondering what on earth has just happened. And it goes to make another attack. It starts to crack in different parts of its body, and as the cracks appear, you know that scene in The Matrix where Neo jumps inside Smith and he starts to break apart?
Yeah.
It's kind of like this. The golden light starts to pour out from these cracks, and the spider's kind of wrenching up like this, and all of a sudden it just goes, and there's nothing left there except for this golden glow that kind of dissipates ever so slightly.
Very sick. Very cool. Well, we'll be back in just a moment. You stay classy. So, as the mother is destroyed in this blast of, as you've described, almost holy energy, you hear its last as spiders do. They kind
That
of...
was a great sound effect.
Thank you.
Well done.
I trained.
Spider Monster Class 1.
Yeah.
Welcome, everyone.
It was my major.
The things you do at drama school. Cool. So it kind of dies. So you see Sahid and Mumbabi have also kind of felled the last of the... They were assailed by about 2 of those small creatures as well. The two that Sahid has fought have literally, they look like they've been cut down the middle, almost like when they were flying up to kind of leap on him, he's just caught them in the air and chopped them in half. Mumbabi walks across from where his spear is just stuck in the center of it, and it's just pinned to the ground. He just kind of goes, pulls it out, and kind of looks at you all. And then he kind of looks down, and you can tell that he's apologizing for not having heard what has happened. But then as he does that, he kind of looks across the fire at Pollux and goes,
Huh. Pollux, for a second there, Pollux kind of looks at him as if to say, "I'm not. What do you mean?" You can see that his eyes have changed. After he's kind of giving you that expression, he kind of looks back, looks around himself, and he's got this kind of serene expression and demeanor about him at the moment, almost like he's. And it's hard to describe. He's just kind of like he's in awe of something. He's in awe of something that's just happened. Yeah.
so when you don't say anything, he just goes, and he just sits down.
Because I was standing right behind the spider as it ripped apart in that energy, I'm breathing heavily, and it's you see the almost like steam, but it's the aura of the blessing, which became all like red fire, dissipate up into the jungle. I'm just staring at its now obliterated remnants. I look around, scanning for anything else, and look at each one of you in the party.
So
I seem to relax.
So you see Jericho sort of fall into a knee and just spat out a pretty big glob of blood. Like he's taken a lot of damage.
I immediately come over to you because I'm right next to you.
I just sort of hold up my hands like this.
Yeah.
Put my hand on the 2 puncture wounds on the chest. You just hear a zhoof. I'm going to use lay on hands on myself just to put on. I'll put 10 hit points back, so back up to 20. The wounds are healed, but the gaps in the armor remain. So he took a lot, and he sort of gives you a quick nod, but gets himself back on his feet.
Yeah.
If so, we can't really see. Can we see the sky at all? You said it was quite dim, wasn't it?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah. No. It's
So, yeah.
and it is night. As well.
Yeah, and we don't really have any sense of at what time. Of
It's
night it is.
it's early in
Okay.
the morning now. So
We must have gone to bed real late then.
well, no, I don't mean like. So what I'm saying is, it's like, probably like around midnight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't mean like 4 or
Yeah, yeah,
5. Like
Right,
it's
right.
not dawn.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, you were halfway through the second watch essentially.
Yeah.
When this all happened. So unless anyone else has anything else to say,
No, I'm quiet at all this. I'm just sort of scanning the tree line because we've got no light now because the fire went out.
the fire is still kind of.
Oh, I thought the spider landed on it.
Yeah, but it's kind of like the embers. And
Ah,
stuff.
it's
There's enough,
kind of-
yeah, but
Sure.
it's no longer a fire
Yeah,
as such.
okay.
But it's not. It's easy for you to restock if that's what you wanted.
Well,
to
I just sort of I'm gonna scan the tree line.
do. Yeah. Now that the fire's a bit lower with your vision as well, you can see like up above. Or none of you noticed this earlier, but you can see like really far up. There seems to be like cobwebs.
Yeah.
But you don't notice any more of these creatures.
Okay.
That's
What I'm checking
Yeah.
for, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
I go over to the fire. I kick some dirt over it, and I just say to everyone, "Continue sleeping. I will hold the remainder of the watch."
And Sahid kind of stands, as will I, my brother, as I said I would.
Just have a torch ready, but do not light it.
Very well.
I limp back to my bed placing, bind my leg wound up, and put my head down.
Sure. So the watch will go on. Is there anything you would like to say to Sahid?
So, I mean, first part of the watch, once I know that everyone's kind of bedded down, I presume Sahid's in just...
Yeah. He's not
Sorry.
meditating actually. He's just kind of.
But that makes sense.
Yeah,
There's
he's
no...
Yeah, there's no. Well, one, Samsoon is nowhere to be
Of course,
seen.
yeah.
But also he's quite alert. Like he's
Sure.
very much keeping an eye out.
Yeah, so I take a couple of the spider fangs, Just add them to my
Yeah.
totem.
One
Classic
thing,
grid.
what Sahid does actually is he clears the creatures from the campsite as
Yeah.
like everyone's. So he's like picking up the bits and just kind
Yeah.
of. He walks a little bit off into and like you both definitely.
I'll be able to
still-
see him.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But he just kind of gets rid of them all.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, I after a little while, I turned to him and obviously in quite hushed tone, so as not to wake anyone and so as not to attract any further attention. Sahid, how is your scar?
Well, I do not think I will see out of this eye again. It is weird, unusual. I have a almost ghost sight, as if my body still thinks it can see, but it cannot. The pain is gone. The physical pain.
Of course. Warriors of my people, they say the same thing. Lost limbs, going to reach for something that is not there. It stands to reason that sight would be the same.
I have read of this.
But these scars,
Yes.
they are not so quick to heal.
No.
How are you, my friend? Speak freely.
I killed my father. At least I think I did. He was more of a memory now than a man. However, well, I'm sure you can imagine. To be fated to do such a thing, as if there was no choice. I grieve for Anarch as well. He was troubled, but he was a good man.
Troubled men do not make bad men. I shoot a glance over to Pollux.
It is true. He seems to have accepted his death willingly. I never knew why one would do that.
I can tell you exactly why. Unlike you, Sahid, he fought his fate, but he did make a choice. That is all we can do. Make a choice. Fate, destiny. I believe in the plans of the gods, but I do not believe that we are bound to them. I do not believe that we are bound to tapestries of fate, or set on some straight path with no opportunity to move elsewhere. No way to take a shortcut or take a scenic route. The destination? Well, that is up to us, as is the journey. And maybe that is the God's plan all along.
Samsun's teachings would agree. We find out who we truly are in times of adversity. He sacrificed himself for something he thought was important.
Alas, I do not think that what you think he sacrificed himself for is the same as what he thought he was sacrificing himself for. Anarch was, as you say, a troubled man, and I do not believe a bad man, as you yourself say. I do not believe he did what he did for the good of the world. He did what he did for his revenge. But how can we know? That is a true mystery of the gods. Only they can know. And even a man such as Anak will answer to his god, and all the gods in some capacity. Perhaps he was surprising Skyver the entire time. Someone like Anak, it would not surprise me if he made it on a coin flip. A big decision, and yet absolutely something that he would do.
Perhaps he was the most devout of all of us.
A fair assumption. We all follow in our own ways. Your prayers, my runes, Jericho's callings, Hakote's lessons and speakings, the stories from his tribesmen, Pollux even in his own way. He tills the earth. He enjoys the finer things in life. If they were not meant to be enjoyed, then why would Mohana have created them? Everything we do is in worship to the gods. In some way. The only question is which one it is to.
That is the problem, my brother. I feel that the righteousness of us all is fading. This place fills me with a darkness. The nights here are unusually dark. Darker than I have ever felt. The light that guides me, more often than not, must come from within. But the more I am here, it dims. I have faith, but it is being tested. I have survived my trial. Samsun has deemed me worthy to do his work still. I now fight for the people of Samsara. I must return. The only way we have is forward, it seems. So I will continue forward.
Well, as long as Samsun rises, there will always be that light. The minute that we wake up and there is no Samsun, then we will have problems, my friend.
That is true. However, I carry a shard of his light with me always.
And with that, he draws his blade, and he puts it in the firelight, and like everything just gets a bit brighter.
Where we can make light, he will shine.
He just puts it away.
Perhaps we should invite Samsun to Niflheim. You say the nights here are dark. You should be there in a snowstorm. Not even Nagal decides to grace us with his presence then.
Look at me. I would survive not one night in your homeland.
I seem to have done okay in yours. Perhaps you can return the favor. You almost certainly will in this place.
Well, when we get out of this place, perhaps I will travel more after I have reclaimed my kingdom. It would be an honor to see your homeland, my friend.
And yours. I have not seen Samsar yet.
Well, you've seen its brightest jewel. Whether Salim was real or not, it was real enough.
As I say, I have not seen Samsar yet. Take the rest of your sleep, my friend. I do not need it. You do more than I.
Forgive me, I will not sleep this night. But if we wish to sit in quiet contemplation, please.
With that, I just sort of nod and sit opposite him.
Sure. No, just joking. The rest of the watch passes.
TPK.
So, given when you were assailed, you will now gain the benefits of a short rest.
You can say the benefits of a level up.
Well, okay then.
I need to spend a hit dice to regen some wounds.
Yes, you do, as does everyone if that is what they wish to do.
Yes.
I rolled a 5 on my d8, so I'm fully back to healed.
Okay, very nice. How many hit dice do you have left?
2.
Very good.
Doesn't matter.
I'm going to do mine as well.
You can do 1, 2, 3.
I'm going to do 1.
You can do 1.
You can do them one at a time. You don't have to do them all. You don't have to declare them all.
8. Back up to full, I will do 1. 28.
I'm on 11. So my hit dice it says 2d6.
So it should be 3d6
Should it?
if you've leveled up. You have 1 hit die for every level that you are,
yeah.
and we've had multiple long rests since you would have last used them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You can elect to use 1 at first if you want, or you can elect to use 2. It's up to you, but you can do them one at a time.
Yeah, I'll do one at a time. So first one, 4.
Okay.
Plus your constitution, don't forget.
Oh yeah, which is 2, so that makes 6. Sorry, 17. I might take that. So
You're gonna leave it there.
yeah, so that leaves me with 2 left, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. So, the benefits of short rest. Any spell slots that you two have used, my understanding, are not replenished.
Correctamundo.
I'm not entirely sure how it works with your key.
I think a short rest and I'm back to
Short
back to
rest,
short.
you're back to good.
He fully
cool.
restores his key. All of my stuff is on a long rest. Pollux gets some spell slots on a
Yeah,
short
let me
rest
just
as a
check.
wizard. But it's like he only gets like 1 or 2 back.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, cool.
I'll just have a quick check while
You have a look at
while
that.
we're doing that.
Right, very good. So, dawn comes, you awaken. You will need to have, well, you don't need to, but you might want to have some rations.
I'll have a little forage, I think, rather than having some rations.
Sure.
See if I can find anything. Berries, nuts, game.
Do you know what? Yes, I'm just gonna for the purposes of because given your skills in this sort of area and given that you are a ranger, I will say, however, that you're not used to the things that you find. So you do find things that you think are edible.
Yeah.
However, if
I
they
will check with Mumbabi.
yeah.
I'll be like,
Yeah. Okay. So
he's just like,
yeah. So so essentially, what happens is you bring back some like berries and some you find some roots as well, which are kind of like the thing that you sliced off. Like so, there's like you find some mushrooms. Did you want to actually try and find any sort of animal life? To do some
yes. So I
hunting?
mean, with my background feature, if I forage for food or water, as long as we're in an area where I can do so reasonably safely, I can generally find enough to feed 6 people.
Sure.
Food like fresh food, fresh and water, so long as it is edible. However, hunting like game and stuff, I would have a little hunt. We'll see if I could find anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you want me to make a check on that.
Yeah. Go on.
Survival?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, that's a 20. Plus 5.
So
25.
As you're kind of you've managed to find like an array of kind of like berries. You find some sort of almost like nuts hanging off a tree. What you see as you're kind of stalking along is there's almost like 3. The best way to describe them, how I would see them in my head. You guys know what a guinea fowl is?
Yes.
Yeah. So they're like these little chicken-looking birds, but they're grey and they actually move in little packs.
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, and they've got like little things here, and they've got things in their head. So you see like I guess a flock of them, because they move in flocks. So you would be able to hunt them if you
Fantastic.
wish.
So this is what I do.
Okay.
I approach them very gently, and as I do so, I mutter to myself, and I make a small sigil in front of me and place my hand on the ground. So I'm using one of my ranger features to cast Primeval Awareness. So once per long rest, I can cast this spell. Doesn't use up any spell slots. I'm casting Speak with Animals.
Okay.
So for 10 minutes, you gain the ability to comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts for the duration. Knowledge and awareness of many beasts is limited by their intelligence, but at minimum, beasts can give you information about nearby locations and monsters, including whatever they can perceive or have perceived within the past day. You might be able to persuade a beast to perform a small favour for you, but at the DM's discretion.
Sure. Okay, so these things are going.
My friends. And I throw some nuts and berries in front of them. For your sight.
They'll kind of look at each other and kind of.
I take
it's
a
not.
step
It's
back.
not so much that you can. You can't like quite understand, but you
Yeah,
communicate.
I get the idea.
It's not
Yeah.
like they just go, well, hello.
Yeah, no.
But
Greetings,
yeah,
brother!
they all kind
Yeah,
of look, and
it's-
then they kind of all kind of go. One of them kind of goes. So
Yeah.
they kind of all kind of
I get the idea.
come over to you, and they start going like.
I take steps back in sort of relation to them to maintain distance.
So one thing you'll notice then, because you've done this, is you kind of erase and stuff. You have like a handful of, I'm going to say at this point, like 5 different sorts of berries and nuts. They avoid one completely, and they, in fact they kind of kick it away and kind of look at you.
Okay. Forgive
What do you call it?
Well, no, it's more like a warning at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's their kind of thank you for rather than saying how dare you.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be medium rare.
And I sort of look down at the one that's kicked them away. One like me, but in black. And I point to a bit of black clothing on my armour. All over. Have you seen?
But yeah, that's kind of met with a bit of confusion.
The small, the Shankar. Have you seen?
At this, they all kind of and the one that you're talking to, you can see there's almost like an alpha guinea fowl kind of, and he kind of rears up for a moment and kind of, and they all kind of go kind of behind him.
Sure. I am no friend of the Shankar. My friend has lost his chicks.
I'm pushing the skill here.
He wishes to have his chick back to him. We hunt the Shankar. Do you know which way?
They all kind of like, as a flock, they kind of move together and kind of like point in a particular direction. So you're not far away from the path that
Sure.
you're on. You realise that the way that you have been going seems to be the direction.
Sure.
So you seem to be on the right.
Yeah.
On the right.
Seeing that, I sort of enjoy your breakfast, my friends. And I just trace a small sigil in the air and place it on the ground. I turn off my speak with animals for what it's worth and
Sure.
I back away.
Sure. The second you do that, they'll kind of go, and it's almost like the whole situation for them never happened. And they see this food and they just kind of all go around and go bloop, bloop, bloop. Yeah, cool.
Sweet.
Very good.
I always half expected, like when you say they took his chick, that when for you to say that's when they take up their spears and shields.
The alpha's wearing a helmet.
We will help you, friend.
It's like, my friend's name is Mumbabi. They're like, Mumbabi?
We must answer the call.
For too long we have waited for your assistance to
desert
expel these demons from the jungle. Cool. So what you have managed to do is find out what's safe to eat and what isn't.
Yep.
So what happens is when you bring these things back, actually Mumbabi kind of looks at you and he goes over and he kind of grabs your hand and kind of look like, kind of gives like to show me what, and he looks at you and kind of goes,
I had help. The black nuts were.
Very good.
I sort of nod down the path. You are on the right track, my friend. In the forest, we have help here. They too wish to see the Shankar removed. When you are ready. I'm just gonna sit down and have a few berries whilst I'm waiting for everyone else.
Sure.
While this is all going on, I just mentioned that Pollux has basically been kind of standing kind of on his own, but not too separate from everybody else. And he kind of looks like he's just kind of in a really kind of peaceful spot and just kind of taking it all in. It looks like he's actually kind of happy, strangely enough. Yeah.
Nothing strange about you anymore.
Yeah. It's all relative.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm packed and ready to go.
Sure. Yeah, so you all eat, so you didn't expel one of your rations. How many have you guys got left at this stage?
Well, I will have 4 left.
You have 4 left?
I think I got 3.
I only have 2.
Because I gave some
Oh,
up
I've only
for
got
the
2 as
guinea
well.
fat.
You're right.
Okay.
Okay, cool, good. You will have to acquire more at some point. But that is not today. So, you eat. You feel as rested as you can be, given everything that happens. Mumbabi at this point kind of stands, and you continue on down this path.
I have a question.
Okay.
Has anyone got any vials left?
No.
I do. I have 2. I use them.
Spent both of mine on other people.
Yeah, I don't have any.
Yeah, I've got 2.
Right now.
And my own healing hands.
Right. So, the path soon joins a stream. So this is the water that you've been hearing flowing. And you follow it for the morning. Noticing as you move along, there is a gradual incline in the path. Late in the afternoon, the stream joins a much larger river. And up ahead, although you can't see it, you can hear the sounds of crashing water. So either there's some sort of rapids, perhaps a waterfall, you can't tell at this stage. But it's loud. As you follow the river, it continues to widen. You could now quite comfortably navigate a small boat through it. You see the river breaks off into many different tributaries, but your bank remains unbroken. The valley starts to climb above you until it seems you're walking through some sort of canyon. I need everyone to make a perception test now, please.
So if our passive perception is higher than what we rolled, how do you want us to play that?
Tell me what you rolled.
Well, I rolled a 6 plus 5, so that's 11.
Yep.
But my passive is 15, for what it's worth.
Yeah, in this case, we'll probably go with the passive.
Sure. That's good.
I'm
Yeah.
on an 11 as well for this way.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We're going to go with passive because this isn't necessarily a... Let me describe what happens.
Cool.
So up ahead, there is a bend in the river, and you see a bowl. You see a pole barge coming around the corner. What do you do?
A pole barge.
Yep.
Is there anyone on it?
Yes.
Who?
So at this stage, as it's coming around, you can kind of just see the poles, but the people who seem to be pushing it along are not incredibly tall, but you've only just seen it come around the corner.
Jericho says, down.
Yeah, I immediately, I've spotted it at the same time as you. Immediately take one knee, and under my breath I say, Shankar.
Whereabouts are we in relation to the river?
So there's a bend, it's a little bit further away down there. There has been no warning cry or anything at this stage. However, when you guys get down, Mumbabi actually grabs you by the scruff of the neck and he just pulls you into the jungle.
Sure.
Yeah, so he's just saying, get off the path.
Yeah.
I dash towards a tree, putting out one of my knives, and I sort of begin climbing up the tree onto a solid branch.
I can't climb up a tree, I'm too old.
You could.
I'll hide behind it.
You could get. Yeah, you can hide behind a
I'll
tree.
hide behind the
Yeah,
tree.
yeah.
Okay, very good.
Same.
Just looks at you going up like, bloody hell.
Yeah.
Right.
Once I find a stable tree, I pull out my bow and an arrow, and I just.
Sure. So as the pole barge gets closer, you see it's manned by 8 Shenka. It's laden with crates and large Hessian sacks. They've not noticed you. At this stage, you're all well hidden. What do you do?
I kind of look up to where Rin is, as if to kind of
Yeah, I'm.
scope out what he's planning on doing.
I'm just. My eyes. I mean, you won't be able to see, but like I'm tensed. I'm ready to quickly, but I'm not making any movements at all. I'm still like a jaguar.
I kind of, I kind of look over to Jericho and I just kind of whisper, "Should we let them pass?"
Aye.
Yeah, well, I look over to you both briefly and don't say anything, but just, then I turn my gaze back to the pole barge. And they're coming downriver towards us, downstream towards us.
And they're kind of almost upon where you guys are hiding now. Again, they kind of seem to be, there's 3 of them that are pushing along, and they're kind of going along with the flow of the river.
And where's this big crashing of water sound?
That's towards the way you're heading.
Okay, but we can't see.
Can't see anything because, there's
They've
a bend.
come from that.
They've come from that area. Yeah.
Okay.
But they're heading in the direction that we've come from.
Yes. And what it looks like now that you can see it is they seem to be moving goods somewhere else.
I'm
Yeah.
waiting.
I wait for them to pass.
Okay. They pass. After a time, you wait a bit. There doesn't seem you can't see any other from your vantage point. You can't see any other barge poles coming or anything. From where you are in the tree, you can't quite see.
Yeah, I
around the
imagine
corner.
it's gone
Yeah.
round. It's going to be super dense, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when they've passed, and they obviously wouldn't be in earshot or anything, I say to the group,
We should go upstream, see where it is they came from.
Mumbabi kind of gives you a look like, this is where I'm leading you. Yeah.
There could be more of it.
Because you remember his mother had said like there were rumours, and then his father, who is now missing, had gone looking for this place. So you assume that he would have an idea of where he's got an idea of where he's taking you.
I take my axe off the clip on my belt and start to, rather than stay on the path, use the undergrowth and the jungle as cover.
Sure. So you continue on. The sound of crashing water gets louder, and up ahead you see a waterfall cascading down into a pool of water. There is a dock with several more pole barges tied to it. Far above, you see there is a rope bridge crossing the canyon. At first, it seems no one is around. But as you guys are stalking up, and given the sound and stuff, you get to see this for free. You see 2 children emerge from behind the sheet of water that is the waterfall. They come to the side of the pool. They are children, but they are much shorter in stature than normal children. But by the look of them, they seem to be about, they're not like children. They might be on the verge of adolescence. They're 2 boys. They don't wear the same masks as the Shenka wear, but they've got the same sorts of colours painted on their bodies. They wear like necklaces. You notice that the necklaces that are wearing, they're made out of what look like finger bones. They come to the side of the water. Where you are, the path kind of seems to head and then sort of disappear, and there's this pool and then this rock face. They've kind of come out on the bank if you were to come around this way, and they're facing out. They haven't seen you, and they just start skipping stones.
And it's just the two of them.
Just the two of them.
I look to the others.
I'm guessing there is something hidden behind the water.
Like Mumbabi, who's just staring at the kids, he just nods.
How long do we wait?
He kind of gives you a glance as if...
Do I think I can make it to them, to creep up to them?
Well, I mean, yeah.
How
Yeah,
far away
you
then?
could. They're probably, I mean, so you've kind of come around the bend, you can see this waterfall, which is a good 20, 30, 40 meters away. Like, it's a little bit further away. And they've kind of, then there's a dock there, as I said, and they've kind of come out of this curtain behind where the path sort of like seems to go around behind it. You've got cover all the way up. And they're just stood there. There's like a little beach almost to one of the sides where the waterfall kind of falls next to it. And yeah, they just seem to be kids being kids at this point. There's no guards or anything like that, but you can see this rope bridge suspended above you. Perhaps this is a different sort of entrance. It's hard to say.
Are there any, because near the stream bed, are there any rocks that I could reach out to grab?
You could, however, you're kind of concealed right now. If you were to show yourself, or to try and go and reach them, because you're kind of not like the path kind of, remember, is hugging this river, and you're kind of now to the side where if you were to come off, like this, don't get me wrong, there's still a bit of trees and foliage and stuff, but you would risk exposing yourself.
Okay.
I'd like to attempt something.
The whole party always shudders when when Beard says something like this. Go on then.
I want to attempt my command ability. The range is 60 feet.
Oh. How far away were they again? Sorry.
It couldn't be more than 60 feet.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, well, let's say 60 feet.
Okay.
Because I mean, I'm Australian. I'm using meters, but I don't know. That sounds good. Let's do that.
So when I cast this spell using the spell slot of second level or higher, is that what I am?
You don't have second level spell slot.
Never mind. So there's two of them, right?
Yes, there is.
Oh, that's it.
It's good.
Okay,
That's good.
cool.
Okay. Well. Okay. So. And so instead of that, Pollux kind of whispers to the others, "I might be able to try and distract them."
By doing what?
I can misdirect them.
How?
I can try and summon a shape. that will distract them. Perhaps lead them away from the entrance.
Shape of what?
A shadow.
Oh,
Nothing
a
more.
shape.
And what if you scare them?
What are they? Small dogs chasing a ball?
I thought you said sheep.
I mean, that may very well distract them.
To them, it will look nothing more like they see a shadow, and hopefully it might distract them. It will be harmless. I promise. If we want to try to get into this entrance.
A distraction would be good.
Cool. So, from his satchel, Pollux takes out a piece of string and a bit of wood, wraps the string around the wood, closes it in his hands, and he starts to kind of incant something. So, I'm casting Unseen Servant.
Mm-hmm.
So, I haven't done this for a while, so I'll read it out so we're absolutely clear. So, this is a... so lasts for 1 hour. The spell creates an invisible, mindless, shapeless force that performs simple tasks at your command until the spell ends. It lasts an hour.
Invisible.
Yes.
Wouldn't create a shadow.
Sure. But it's just description now. Come on. The servants.
The rules.
No. Well, what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Okay. The servant springs into existence and occupies space. There's 60 feet in range. So essentially, what I get it to do is kind of manifest itself in the opposite direction of where we leave the waterfall is.
Right.
So and away from us, as far as I can make it, 60 feet.
Right.
And I tell it to start rustling some grass.
Just forgive me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Based on your description, aren't we? The waterfall's here.
Yeah.
The river's running there. Obviously, the waterfall's there. You've got this pathway here where the kids have come with this little beach, and we're here. So opposite the waterfall is going to bring them towards us if they investigate.
What about further off inland? Can I do that?
So remember, you're kind of in you've been walking in like a canyon.
Yeah.
So you've kind of got the waterfall here. They've come out there. You've come around on this bend,
Right.
and so you're about here, and the path continues on behind the waterfall here. So you could do it somewhere over there, but that's kind of like, it's quite rocky and stuff. Like this whole thing that you've come up to is now like almost a sheer rock face. And from far up above, this waterfall is falling, and like I said, this rope bridge seems to be going across the canyon up above.
So
you could,
but it would lead them towards
but
us.
Chef is right, it would lead them towards you, which, hey, may not be a bad thing.
No, I don't want that.
I will get you to, get you guys to make a decision soon though, or they will start to make perception checks for themselves, because you're just sat there and they will start to notice you. So a decision needs to be made.
Well, I'm willing to try something, but I can't find the rule for it because irritatingly it's not in the player's handbook and it's not in the character sheet.
Describe it to me. Role play trumps rules every time.
Okay, great.
Except when the rule says invisible, because that's a very different mechanic.
How close am I? How close am I to the water? Is it possible that I can?
So you're in so there's a path.
Yes.
And then there's like a little bit of foliage, and there's the water. So it probably from where you and I are standing, it's like just before the viewing over there.
But I'm imagining that because we're right near the bank.
Yeah, of course.
So it would be wet.
Yes.
All the stones, the bank would be wet. Obviously.
Well, it's almost like when you're walking across a path, and then there's like a little bit of earth, and then it's like because it's been cutting down into the water as it flows. Has been over time kind of cutting down into this canyon. So there's like there's no real beach on the side you're on, but there is as you come around to where I said like there's a dock and there's this other stuff there as well.
Is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
So basically, anything I described is going to lead them towards us. So I just retract that. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not going to work unless I think they can climb the rocks. I might send it up there. But I mean, if I was to look at the kind of the rock edge,
it's a rock face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd be able to climb that, would they?
Well, we can try.
No.
Um,
I ain't rolling that dice.
They plummet to their death.
Yeah. Well, they go now.
Okay, I place my hand just out of the undergrowth, and I place it just by the river, or on the river bank where it's wet, and you can see the condensation on the rocks and little droplets of water which have been splashing from the stream itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I raise my hands to the rest of the group. Don't move. And I close my eyes, and you hear me muttering something which is not a language, but almost like a chant, but sort of a string of words like gibberish, basically.
Sure.
And the droplets on the rocks start to stream together, and they move into the riverbank and into the stream, and then all of a sudden the stream starts to gain a little bit of momentum.
Mm-hmm.
The current, which is moving away from the waterfall, strangely starts to turn back on itself, back towards the waterfall where it's coming from.
Sure.
And it's not strong. There's not like but it's the current has changed direction, and it moves back to them and starts, because they're just playing right by the base of the waterfall.
Yeah.
Starts sort of splashing up at them, and it's now like starting to soak.
So the first thing that happens, because they're flinging stones.
Yeah.
So they're being dum dum dum. So what actually happens is one flings and it goes and he just kind of ducks, goes over his head, and goes back into the waterfall behind him. And they kind of are looking at each other like, and they notice this thing coming towards. Okay, what now?
That's it. I can continue to do that.
Okay.
But they're now the water, because imagine if the current's running away from them, they're starting to get quite soaked now, because it's all splashing up on
So they're kind of looking at each other and looking at, and they kind of take a few steps backwards.
This lasts an hour, by the way. Do they want to be soaked for an hour? I mean, do they?
I was halfway through a description, but maybe I'll make you wait now. So no, they kind of say something to each other, and they kind of, so all this water's kind of splashing back on them. They kind of try and move around it to see what's going on. One of them says something to the other one. They kind of shake their heads, and they both. One of them kind of points like, maybe we should go back inside, and they do.
Good. That's good.
They do. To what end they go back inside? Difficult to say at this point.
I look at you doing this and sort of seeing this water coming through. Man of many tricks, it seems.
All of Bahadir's realm is available to be spoken to if you know how to do so.
I just give you a knowing smile at that.
So after a few minutes of just making sure they're not coming back, Mumbabi just walks out, and he just looks at you all, and he kind of just quite lightly taps his spear on his shield, and then points inside.
Yeah. I follow, and the axe is in my hand.
Excellent.
Yeah. Ready.
So you move around the path. There is no one else around at this stage. You seem to have got rid of the sentries, as it were, and he moves behind the curtain. Behind the curtain of water, you see that there is a passageway, and you enter into the passageway. But we will not find out what is in that passageway until next week. I hope you all enjoyed that. But we are now in the lair, it seems, of the Shankar. Will the man robed in black be found inside? We shall have to see. Tune in next week. But until then, keep being adventurous.